In this video, we will discuss the functional anatomy of the heart. Subtopics covered will be heart chamber, pacemaker tissue, conducting system, and heart sound. So, in this slide, we are seeing the circulation right side and left side of the heart. Circulation is in series, and from the left heart, whole blood goes to the systemic circulation, and we are seeing that between aorta and vena cava circulation is in parallel. So the heart has two pumps which are in series. One pump propels blood through the lungs for exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, which is called pulmonary circulation, and the other pump propels blood to all other tissues of the body, and which is called systemic circulation. Flow of blood through the heart is one way, unidirectional, and this is achieved by appropriate arrangement of the valves. Although the cardiac output is intermittent, as we know that during systole heart pumps and during diastole filling occurs, so it shows that the flow from the heart is intermittent, but we see that the systemic circulation gets continuous flow which is achieved by distension of aorta and its branches during systole and elastic recoil of the walls of large arteries and forward propulsion of blood during ventricular relaxation, means diastole. So this line shows or says that the flow to tissue is continuous while flow from the heart is intermittent, and this is achieved by elastic recoil of the large arteries. So functional features of the heart: heart pumps the blood, maintains unidirectional flow, generate high pressure so that we know that pressure difference causes flow of blood, separate of pulmonary circulation, so heart has two separate circulations, mechanism to synchronize the activity of two pumps, so there are mechanism which we will discuss, modify the function as per specific requirement of the circulation, so heart can change its function according to the requirement of the body. So in this schematic diagram we are seeing that blood from the vena cava or from systemic circulation through vena cava is going to right side of the atrium, and from here through the wall it is going into, this wall is tricuspid between right atrium and right ventricle, it is going into the right ventricle, and from here through pulmonary wall it is going into the pulmonary arteries, and these arteries are supplying to the lungs where oxygenation of the blood will occur and carbon dioxide will be exchanged, and now oxygenated blood will go to the left side of the heart, left atrium, and through mitral wall it goes into the left ventricle, and during systole it is pumped into the aorta through aortic valve to systemic circulation. So this is the schematic or functional anatomy of the heart. So anatomical dimension: average adult heart is about 12 centimeter from base to apex and 8 to 9 centimeter wide at its broadest diameter, transverse diameter, and 6 centimeter anterior posterior diameter. Weight of the heart is near about 300 gram in males and 250 gram in females. Now coming to right side of the pump and features or peculiarity of the right side of the pump. So components of the right side of the pump has two components, right atrium and right ventricle. Input is by superior and inferior vena cava, and output is through pulmonary artery, and there are walls present in the right side of the heart, which are between inferior vena cava and right atrium. There is a wall called Eustachian wall, and coronary sinus wall. Coronary sinus is what it it's gives the blood of heart, means it is a venous supply of the heart which is pumped into the right side of the atrium or right atrium. So it is through Thebasian wall. So wall present is Thebasian wall. Between right atrium and right ventricle there is a tricuspid wall, and between right ventricle and pulmonary artery there is a semilunar wall. So thickness of right ventricle is about 3 to 5 millimeter wall thickness, and pressure generated during systole is 25 millimeter of mercury. These are the schematic diagrams showing the walls. So between inferior vena cava and the right atrium there is a wall. That this wall is Thebasian wall, and between the opening of coronary sinus and the right atrium there is a wall. Okay, and between the right these walls, two walls are shown here, and between right atrium and right ventricle there is a tricuspid wall. So in this diagram you are seeing the tricuspid wall. Wall has, you can say, door or cusp. These are so there are three cusps, only because 2D diagram you are seeing only two cusps, and these cusps are attached to chorda tendineae, which are further attached to papillary muscle of the heart. So this arrangement has been shown, that how this chorda tendineae are attached to papillary muscle of the heart. So in this diagram we are seeing the view that when the wall is open during ventricular systole, the semilunar wall, this is talking about pulmonary wall. During ventricular systole, semilunar wall abut against the wall of vessel and allow the flow of blood, and during ventricular diastole the semilunar wall abut against each other and prevents backflow of the blood. So semilunar wall are present both in the aorta and in the pulmonary artery. So same mechanism is applicable in both places. Now coming to left side of the pump. Left side pump has components: left atrium, left ventricle. Input is through pulmonary veins and output through aorta. Walls are present between pulmonary veins and left atrium, and between left atrium and left ventricle this wall is called mitral wall, and between left ventricle and this is the left ventricle and aorta. So it is wrongly written here. It is left ventricle and aorta, and this is also semilunar wall. Thickness of the ventricle wall is left ventricular wall is 8 to 12 millimeter, which is 3 to 4 times more than that of right side of the ventricle, and pressure generated is 120 millimeter of the mercury during systole. So this diagram shows the schematic diagram of different walls which are present in the heart. So mitral wall, tricuspid wall, pulmonary wall, and aortic wall. It is again shown in the surface anatomy. If we see, these are the ribs, and in between ribs there is intercostal spaces. So we see in the second intercostal space right side there is aortic area, and second intercostal space left side there is pulmonary area, and the fourth intercostal space the left side beside the sternum there is tricuspid area, and in the mid clavicular line there is mitral area. So and these areas are defined according to the direction of flow of the wall. So heart sounds are better heard in these area for particular wall. Okay, so suppose mitral wall closing will be better heard at the mitral area, aortic wall closure will be better heard at aortic area, and tricuspid wall closure will be better heard at the tricuspid area. Covering of heart is pericardium. It is a double layer, and in between there is negligible amount of pericardial fluid for lubrication. If we see the myocardium, endocardium and epicardium are supported by loose areolar tissue. The atrium myocardium is electrically separate from ventricular myocardium by fibrous tissue. So electrical activity which is generated in the atrium is separated from electrical activity which is present in the ventricle through a fibrous tissue. So in between atrium and ventricle there is a fibrous tissue which separates the electrical activity of atrium and ventricle, and because of that we need, or heart need, a conducting system, so that atrium, because atrium has the pacemaker, so electrical activity which is generated at the pacemaker is conducted to ventricle also, and for that we need a conducting system. And because fibrous tissue is electrically, or you can say it gives resistance to the flow of current, so or current cannot pass through the fibrous tissue, there is conducting system. And if we see the musculature of atria, it is two layers, superficial and deep, and ventricle has three layers, subepicardial, middle and subendocardial. So we were talking about fibrous skeleton, and this is present between atrium and ventricle. This is shown in the schematic diagram of fibrous skeleton. So because fibrous skeleton is there, so electrical activity cannot traverse through this. We need a conducting system. So conducting system arises, or we can say electrical activity generated at the SA node by itself, or this is you can say autorhythmic area. Autorhythmicity means that rhythm is generated by its own. It doesn't need any nervous supply. So because of that, this area is called pacemaker, and from this pacemaker or SA node, electrical there is a passage to another node which is present at the fibrous tissue at AV junction, atrioventricular node. So between the junction of atrium and ventricle there is a node, AV node. So this is connected, and from here there is a bundle which is called bundle of His, and it is divided again into two branches, left bundle branch and right bundle branch. Left branch, right branch, and it is further supplying to whole of the myocardium of the ventricle through Purkinje fibers. So this is the conducting system of the heart, and because of that, electrical activity which is generated at the SA node travels to the whole of the heart, and because of that, heart contraction or systole or diastole occurs. So in this diagram we are seeing the systole. Systole is ventricular contraction. So initial period of the systole has isovolumetric ventricular contraction, means just before the starting of the systole, we are seeing that both walls, AV wall, atrioventricular wall, and semilunar walls are closed. So there is blood inside the ventricle, but it is not pumped out. And when there is sufficient pressure generated, then the blood will be pumped to the aorta through the left side and to the pulmonary artery through the right side. And while coming to diastole, here also there is a stage where we are seeing isovolumetric relaxation, ventricular relaxation stage, in which heart is empty. Now heart has pumped out whole blood and both walls are closed, atrioventricular and semilunar, and now it is ready for the filling. Okay, so now filling will start, and this stage is called diastole. Okay, so coming to the heart sound, so we normally hear two sounds, first and second heart sound. These are normally heard. So first heart sound is low, slightly prolonged lub sound, and it is due to the closure of AV wall. And second heart sound is due to the closure of semilunar wall, which is aortic and pulmonary. So remember, heart sounds are produced by closure of wall, not by opening of wall. So first heart sound is by closure of AV wall, and that is lub sound, and second heart sound is by closure of semilunar wall, that is dub sound, and this is high pitched. So first sound is low pitched, second sound is high pitched. And as coming to third heart sound, soft low pitched third heart sound is heard about 1/3 of the way through diastole, means it hurts in diastole when there is filling occurring. And why? It is due to the vibration, due to the rush of the blood produced in the ventricular wall that produces sound. That sound is called third heart sound. So it may be heard in many normal young individuals. Fourth heart sound can sometimes be heard immediately before the first sound when atrial pressure is high or ventricle is stiff in conditions such as ventricular hypertrophy. It is due to ventricular filling and is rarely heard in normal adults. So fourth heart sound is also called atrial kick. Just before the first heart sound, the atrial kick causes the remaining amount of blood in the atrium to pass into the ventricle, and this sound is rarely heard in normal adults. So this was about the functional anatomy of the heart. Thanks, and watch for the electrical activity of heart in the next video.